Welcome to Philosophy Beam today. In this video, because of the Halloween, I decided to do something fun for the season. So I'm gonna do a pumpkin, like a parametric pumpkin in this video. The example that I'm gonna be doing is something one of my buddies, Kelvin Tam, who did it back in the days in 2013. He actually got inspiration from the movie Hellraiser, from the main character Pinhead. He actually created this Pinhead for one of the competition pumpkin entry back in the days. He actually wrote a blog about it, and I'll be sure I'll share the link about his blog. But what inspired me is I wanted to do it myself because I've never done it, and it is a fun one. So let's get started. All right, let's jump right into that. I'll try to do my best as far as explaining the step-by-steps, and feel free to leave a comment in the chat if you have any questions, and I'll try to do my best and answer your questions if I can. All right, so what I would need to do is to start a new family. So I'm gonna go to the File tab, New Family. I'm gonna go choose a template, and the template I'm gonna be choosing is actually called Generic Model Adaptive. So if you have experience using adaptive component family, this is the only template that you can use it for. So I'm gonna choose that and hit open. So in order for this pumpkin to be parametric, I need to set up some framework. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to my floor plan view. I'm gonna lay out a reference line right around here. All right, what I want to do is I want to make sure that these line actually align to the reference plane. So I'm going to go to the reference level. I'm going to use a line. I can lock it. I don't have to, but I'm just going to go ahead and lock it. And I'm going to go ahead and choose this one. You can see that I can set a dimension here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set a dimension here. I'm going to hit my tab key and make sure that I have a dimension associated with the endpoint of this reference line to the center reference plane. I'm going to go ahead and let me make sure that this one is 7 feet 6. Let me go ahead and make it 20 feet first. All right, now I want to make it 10 feet on one side. That will help me push these things. As you can see that if I put a dimension on the other end and hit the tab key to select the endpoint, I get another 10 feet. Actually, I'm going to do a 10 feet here, and I'm going to do edit witness line to pick up the other side so that I could have an equalized dimension like so. So in this case, I'm just going to use this one, edit witness line, and pick it up at the other end like so. So I can have an overall dimension in order to set it as a parameter. All right, I'm going to put it over here. Let's go back to the 3D view. In this case, I can set this as a parameter. I'm going to go ahead, go to a parameter. This is going to be my width. Hit OK. I'm going to be using this reference line in order to generate a surface. So what I'm going to do is just use create form to create these surface. The purpose of having a surface is to allow me to draw the shape of the profile for the pumpkin. All right, so let me go ahead and make sure that I have the height set up for the surface, because I want to have the width set up here. All right, so you can see that when I select the surface here, under the properties, I can change my dimension here so that I can use this to associate the family parameter in order to allow me to create the height parameter here. I'm going to go ahead and make it instant and hit OK and OK. Alright, let's go to mixture and flex this parameter. I'm going to go to the family type over here and test the height. I'm going to set it to 20 feet. I want to make it equal dimension between the height and width. I'm going to say 20. As you can see that, it's going to flex correctly. I want to go back to the family types and I want to make sure that my width parameter is also going to be instant. So I'm going to go to the pencil icon and change it to instant. Hit OK. Like so. Alright, so let me flex the width parameter here again, just to be sure it's working accordingly. So you can see that it's actually shrink on both sides. So that's what I want. I'm gonna go back and set it to 20 feet here. So just a reminder, this is gonna be a pretty tall pumpkin. It's gonna be a 20 feet by 20 feet pumpkin, but that's okay. All right. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to select the surface and I want to use these divide surface like so. So once I divide surface here, I can change the grid number, the UV grid number under the properties here. So for now, I am going to set it 30 by 30 here, meaning, oh, that's probably too much. You know what? Let's set it to 20 feet, 20 and 20, because what happens is I have 20 feet wide, so I have 20 feet grid here for me to work with, so that I have basically each grid is a foot by a foot. Okay. That will help me draw the sketch of the profile shape of the pumpkin. All right, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to go to the surface here, and under this surface representation there is an arrow. I want to make sure that the nodes is checked. Hit OK. So the next thing is critical. Basically, the surface that I just created, like I said, it's going to be a framework. It is to allow me to draw a spline for my pumpkin. Alright, so I'm going to try to good it. You know what? Let's turn off some reference plane here. I'm going to go ahead and hide it because I don't need it for now. I'm going to hide it so that it doesn't get in my way. It doesn't seem to do it. You know what? Let's try it. Okay, there it is. Hide element. Okay. All right, I'm gonna keep this one for the moment because I need it in just a little bit. Now what I can do is I can go to the reference line. I'm gonna use the spline and make sure that I'm using it as a reference line instead of model line. So in this case, I want to make sure the 3D snapping is on, so that when I'm drawing my sketch, you can see that my mouse is snapping to these nodes on the grid. All right, so what I want to do is I want to draw a symmetrical shape. So I'm going to try to, as you can see that here, that's the center. So I'm going to try to start from here and work my way down actually. So let's do it like so. Oh, you know what? I messed it up. Actually, for some reason, I switched it back to the straight line. So I want to make sure that I'm using spline. So let me go ahead and delete that and start over. I want to make sure the reference line using spline, full points. All right. I want to make sure this is follow surface is also checked. All right, let's start again. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna take this here, just gonna kind of work my way down. And I'm trying to keep it a little bit like organic as much as I can. You can see that actually I have to try to snap this. To the node. Alright, let's see here. If I mess it up, I can actually change it later, so don't worry about messing things up. I'm just gonna kind of work my way around it, like, let me see, like this. Okay, how about that? There we go. Okay, so now it's coming together. So I'm gonna do one over here. I might have to change it a little bit here. All right. All right, how about that? I'm almost done. All right, I'm gonna hit escape to finish my spline. So let's kind of take a look at the front view. It looks a bit crooked here. You can see that this spot and this spot here, I got a few spots that I'm not quite happy about it. But you know what? Actually, I can fix it. So what I can do, let me go ahead. Actually, the dimension is kind of getting my way. So let's go to the visibility graphics here. Go to annotation category. I'm just going to turn off the dimension temporary. All right, so that I can focus on the sketch. So the way to fix it is pretty simple. All you need to do is select this point. You get this option called pick new host. So I'm gonna use that. So this will allow me to rehost my points to the grid line, basically to the grid, just like that. So let's do one more. I'm gonna select this here, pick new host. I'm gonna move it like so. Yeah, you can see that I want to move this again. Like so I can kind of work my way now to change the shape of my pumpkin. Yeah, it looks kind of funny on this guy. So how about that? That looks slightly better. Perhaps I can change the the number of the grid, but I'm just gonna stick with that right now. I just have to fix a few more points. That looks much better. How about this one? Let's see here. I think this one will be okay here. I might need to pull back this one just a little bit. Oh, that's much better. Let's move this one as well. Like so. I can probably move this one slightly this way. Yeah, I just kind of had to work my way over here a little bit. Like I said, you can increase the number of the grid, the UV grid here, so you get more points, so you can just draw your spine probably better. All right, so let's see if I want to make one more adjustment like so. Yeah, more close. Okay. Yeah, I think what I need is I just need to move these points over here. How about that? Yeah, that looks much better. So that's kind of what the curve or spline looks like. Yeah, I might need to do a little bit better on this one. Let's see. Let's just move this point. And I can probably move this point down. And move this one up. I'm spending way too much time here, I know that, but I want to make sure this is working the way I want it. I might be able to move this point a little bit further over. Okay, that looks probably better now. Okay. I know it's kind of like an apple, but I think it's gonna work out just fine. Okay, maybe one more. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Okay, this looks much better. Okay. All right, so gonna stop this right now. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, I wanted to draw a reference line vertically. So in this case, I need to bring back some of my reference plane here because I want to draw a reference plane in this direction. So I'm gonna draw a vertical reference plane from here, just going up. I think what the easiest way to do, I'm just going to draw one like this and I'll just go up. You know what? What's the better way if I draw in the front elevation? Just going to draw a reference plane. Make sure that it's going to be front and back. And I'm just going to draw one like this. The reason I need this reference plane, I'm going to go back to 3D view, is to allow me to use it as an axle so that I can do a revolve, kind of like the traditional revolve in Revit. All right, so let's talk about the concept here before I move on. So then now I have basically two things. I have a spline, which is made up of a reference line, and I have another vertical linear reference line there. So with these two things, I can select both and I can go to create form and choose solid form, and boom, I just basically made a shape of the pumpkin. Okay, just like that. All right, if I choose to shade it, it's gonna look something like this. I'm gonna go back and stay in hidden line for now. So why I'm taking so much time to make this spline in the first place, or doing the framework and all that, you know, preparation. Here's why. Because now I have a grid. My grid actually controlled by these two things, by my height and the width here. So basically what happens now is if I ever change my dimension of the height, so let's do one right now. I'm just gonna set it to, you know what, let's set it to 25 feet, so taller. Hit apply. The shape of my pumpkin right now is going to follow. Why? Because again, it's the pumpkin is controlled by the spline, and because the spline right now controlled by the grid. So no matter what I do now, I can change my width here. I can make it wider. You can see that the pumpkin is just going to self-adjust it based on the spline and based on the grid. So this is a very good way to control something so organic here, and you can make it something very parametric. All right, so I'm going to set it back to 20 feet for both directions. I'm going to continue to work on the other things like the eyes and the mouth and such. All right, so what I want to do is I actually wanted to take back, I don't want to have a form get in the way. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select the pumpkin shape first. Let me see where that is. Yeah, I'm gonna use dissolve to revert back to just the reference line for now, so that I can kind of work on the other parts of the pumpkin. All right, I'm gonna continue to work on the reference using reference line, spline full points. I'm just gonna go work on the eyes right now. So let me see, let's go back, use spline full points. I'm just gonna start sketch out my eyes here. I'm gonna go this way, like so. All right, so I'm gonna have to leave it like a open-ended spine like that. Let me hit can't escape to finish this. The reason I need to do this is I need to come back to with another spline full points so that I can close out this eyes here, because I tried it earlier. I can't generate a form when I have a complete spline using a single spline. I have to complete it with two splines for some reason. So I'm just gonna go with that for now. All right, so now that I have these, I'm gonna work on the opposite side of the eyes. I can't use mirror, so I'm just gonna have to work my way there. Let's go to, let's try to keep this view again. Let's turn this off. Again, it really gets in the way. I don't need this right now, so I'm gonna hide it as well. That will again help me look at things a little bit better. All right, so now I'm gonna go back to spline full points. So I'm gonna choose the opposite side. Let's see, it's gonna be now I got two eyes. Let's kind of take a look at that. Yeah, I don't like this being too far, so let's go ahead and adjust it a little bit before I move on. So I'm gonna grab one point here and I'm gonna rehost it over there. I'm gonna do the same by rehosting this point. I do need to move this one over like so. Yeah, that looks a little bit better, I think. All right, so let's do this over here. And hosting this way. And this one over here. All right, I know the grid is very hard to follow because of the blue grid. It just kind of get in the way. Okay, I do want to make another adjustment over here. I think this will look a little bit better if I move this point one grid over. Yeah, I do think so. Okay, so let's take a look again. It's gonna look something like this. Okay, so now let's work on the nose. Okay, So again, I got my mouth with 2 sketch, my nose with 2 sketch, and my eyes also with spline and then vertical line. Okay, I got everything I need now. Okay, all right, so now I can go back to create the body or the pumpkin, the body. So all right, so what I want to do, I want to go back to select this guy and then my spline and then just use create form just like that. Okay, nice and easy. Okay, so for the eyes, because I want to hollow my eyes and the nose is my mouth, so what I want to do is I want to select each of these outline and go ahead and use, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the solid form so that I get these extrusion punch out from here, as you can see that right now, so that again you can see my eye just pops out. So what I can do is I can select, let me select the eyes like so. You can see this dimension here is something allows me to set a dimension to it. I'm gonna set it to 10 feet for now so that I can make them punch out. It's kind of hard to read. Okay, let's go and switch it to, you know what, I need this right now. I'm gonna switch the shaded mode in just a little bit. So I'm gonna continue with my eyes here. Then take it, let's do that. Let's go ahead and go select this spline and this here, create form. It only create a surface for some reason. It doesn't like it for some reason. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have to work on the sketch a little bit here. So let's go ahead and work on the nose. Okay, so the nose works. Or should work. There you go. Got my nose punch out. Okay, let's work on the mouth. Okay, the mouth works as well. Yeah, for some reason, let me go and rework this guy here. I just need to go ahead and use a reference line. Connect these 2 points. All right, let's see if I can form an extrusion. It seems like, yeah, I'm gonna need to rework it very quickly. Let's go ahead. Let's set it to wireframe. So I can delete this grid. So I'm gonna keep this line here. Okay, so let's try this time. Okay, yeah, I got the extrusion this time out. Finally. Okay, I know it's confusing. Let's switch it to shaded mode now. You can kind of see this here. I have a pumpkin. So it looks kind of weird because I don't have a material associated with that. So let me go ahead and apply a material. I'm just gonna call it pumpkin. Body. Okay, I can then go ahead and assign some color for now. I'm gonna go ahead and create a new material. Just gonna go call it pumpkin orange. For now, I'm just gonna give it like an orange color, like a dark orange color. Hit OK. Okay, you get the sense of that. Okay. All right. So what I need again is, I know it's a little bit confusing. Let's see if this one, yeah, okay, so let me show you what I need to do right now, because I need to change all this solid into a void. The second, yeah, something didn't work out. Okay, so I'm gonna need to undo this here. I might need to create the body of the pumpkin again. So let me dissolve it. Let me get rid of this line and kind of just keep the spline there. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna draw a vertical reference plane, reference line from this to that. Okay, with this I can select this and the spline and generate my revolve again. There we go. Okay, I didn't get this last time, but this time I did. It should look something like this. Okay, without applying the material. There we go. Okay, so now you can see what it looks like. Okay, so what I need to do again, I need to make sure that I have enough depth in my extrusion to cut out my pumpkin to be hollow. So you know what? I'm just gonna give it this parameter called width. I'm just gonna tie it together so that I can make this just longer for the extrusion to cut out. And then I'm gonna go ahead and convert this from solid to void. There you go. You can see that now my eyes just getting carved out from the pumpkin. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing here. Just gonna add it to the width parameter and change this to void. So now it's taking shape here. All right, this guy, same thing, pretty much repeat the same process. And the last but not least is the mouth. There you go. Okay, so now you can see that I basically got the pumpkin made already. So let's kind of flex this and see what happens. Like I said, when I flex the height or the width, you should see everything should be self-adjusted. Let's just make it narrower. Right, and everything kind of flex accordingly. I can make this probably be skinnier, right? Oh, that's too much. So let's just say 30 feet again. Okay, there you go. Okay, so now there's one more thing to work on, which is the needle or the pin for the head. I'm gonna set it back to 20 feet first for both directions. And I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, I can wait for the material parameter in just a little bit. So I need to work on the pin. All right, so for that I need to start a new family. Also going to be using generic model adaptive. I need to make it as adaptive component this time around, so I'm going to go ahead and set a reference point over here, and I will make sure that this one is set to the insertion point, which is the center of the family. I'm going to go ahead and make this as a adaptive point. Once this is an adaptive point, I can hit tab key here to set this horizontal plane from the reference point to be my work plane. Because what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna draw a circle. I'm gonna make a circle, a 1/4 inch circle. I want to make sure this circle has a parameter associated with that. This is my 1/4 inch radius for the circle. I'm gonna change this scale to like a 3 inch to a foot. You know what? I want to make it a little bit smaller. Let's just do 6 inch to a foot. And I'm gonna go ahead and assign these to be the pin radius. All right, before I forget, I need to make sure that this which is going to be a nested family to be unshared. All right, so now I'm going to select the circle. I can go ahead and create this basic extrusion like this. This will become another parameter for the pin, which will be the the pin height this time, right? I'm gonna say type for now. Say okay. All right, I got two things sort of working. The last thing is I'm going to probably set it as a material. It's minor, but let's just go and do it. I'm gonna apply material parameter here, call pin material. All right. Okay, so let's flex all these parameters here. I have the height. Let's just make a 6 inch tall. It's working. Let's just make this 1/2 inch for the radius. You can see that this is not quite working. There's a way to fix it. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this back to 1/4 inch first. What I need to do is to select the top circle or the circle here. I can also make this as a dimension that allows me to apply the same parameter, pin radius, like so. So now if I flex this parameter again, let's just do it 1/2 inch. It looks a little bit crooked here. Or is it? Nope, it's gonna be fine. Yeah, it was just, oh, because the height, yeah. Oh, I know what's going on. Okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's just start over. I know that. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's do a circle again from here. Make sure I got this working this time. Oh, okay, extrusion. I'm gonna make this pin height. Okay, that should do it. Let's make sure that this material parameter get reassigned to the pin material. All right, so I'm gonna need to make sure that the top also receive the same parameter like so. Okay, let's flex it one more time. Let's do 1/4 inch. Okay. It just moves. Let's see here. I think what happens is I didn't secure the circle insertion, but I think it's okay. I'm just gonna keep this 1/2 inch radius. So let me finish my pumpkin there. As far as the height goes, if the height works, that's all that matters. Yep, the height's gonna work just fine. Okay. All right. Okay, I got everything I need right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and nest it to my family one, which is my pumpkin. All right. I'm not placing it just yet, so I'm gonna hit cancel on my keyboard. What I need to do next is to select my pumpkin. So I'm gonna select the back of my pumpkin surface like so. Once I select this half, I can go to divide surface. Essentially what happens is I'm dividing this pumpkin similar to my framework earlier, so that I can turn on the nodes. And I also want this original surface to be turned back on, so that I can assign my pumpkin material there like so. All right, once I have this surface divided, I'm just gonna go ahead and set it to some desired number pin. I'm just gonna go a little bit easy, like 50 feet. 50 actually 50 is probably too much. Yeah, let's do 30 for now. Okay, 30 should be good enough. All right, I'm gonna go back to the same thing. This time I want to select the surface with the cutout. So I want to make sure that when I tap select this, I'm selecting the surface with the eyes and the nose and the mouth cutout. And then I'm going to use divide surface. Same thing, I'm going to set it to 30 and 30 over here. And make sure this surface also have the nodes turned on with the original surface turned on as well, like so. Okay, so now I got one last thing to do, then I'm pretty much done. I'm gonna go to the create tab and hit component, because I want to be able to place my nested pin on the surface. All I need to do is to be able to place the pin to any of the nodes. It doesn't matter which one, it just needs to be one of them. I'm gonna put it here like that. I'm gonna go ahead and set another one to the first half. Let me make sure I can see it like this. Hit modify, so you can see that I have 2 pins right now. I'm a little bit excited because this is going to be the fun one. I have the pin here. I'm going to go ahead and select the pin, because this is going to be a adaptive component. Inside the adaptive component, I can use the repeater to repeat this on the surface of the pumpkin, just like that. Look at that, right? I can also select this adaptive family here, use repeat on the other half. I got some warning, but that's okay. And there you have it. Okay, I'm pretty much done. I just have some limited cleanup to do. So for this surface, it's not gonna show up in the project, so that's okay. I want to make sure that the pin material or the parameter from the pin, which are here, it's got pass on to the pumpkin. So I'm gonna go ahead and associate this parameter here, call pin material. Hit OK. I'm not gonna worry too much about the radius, but I'm going to just set the pin height and associate that to the pumpkin as well. I'm gonna make an instance. Hit OK. OK a few times. All right. I'm done pretty much. Okay, so now let's go ahead and load it back to the project and see what happens. It's gonna be quite a bit of work for Revit to process. Okay. All right, so I want to go ahead and choose place in work plane. I'm just gonna place a couple over here. Let's go to the 3D view and let's set this to a shaded mode. Couple of things here, because what happens is the note from the family actually is showing what you can do is to go to visibilities. You can turn it off. It is going to be under masking category. I'm going to choose mask. It's under masking category. I know it's not generic, it's a masking category, which is kind of weird, but that's okay. I want to make sure that my masking category turn on first, so that I can turn off the grid lines and the nodes like here. Then I'm going to turn this off again and hit apply and hit OK, and there you have it. So you can see the pumpkin there. Because I have the pumpkin height and my width instant parameter, so what I can do is I can set the height. Let's just say let's make a taller one on this guy. Is quite a, there you go, look at that, right? And this one I want to probably make a wider one. I'm gonna make it 28 feet in width, and there you go. Let's make one more, shall we? All right, this one is going to be probably skinnier even. Gonna make it 45 feet tall, and let's make it like 10 or 12 feet wide. See what happens. Yep, Revit's not gonna like it. It's too much. So let's make it 15 feet, I guess. Nope, it's too tall, I think. Let's keep it down to 10. Okay, yep, we got it. Okay, well, all right, thank you for watching. This is a long one for sure. I'm gonna try to do my best and maybe just clean up the video a little bit better, but hope you have enjoy this video. Like I said, this one is pretty fun to create. It's got a lot of steps. Like I said, feel free to put in a comment if you have any questions or anything like that. I hope you like the video, and please thumbs up if you like the video, or subscribe my channel for more Revit tutorials from my channel. All right, happy Halloween, and hope to see you next time. All right, thank you.